Reveal pictures of James Kirkendall's tattoos. Investigators say he is the man walking in an alley when this car pulls up and bullets start flying. According to documents, a warrant was issued for detectives to take pictures of his body art. Detectives believe they prove he's associated with the Aryan Brotherhood, a white supremacist prison gang. Those tattoos, investigators say, include a shamrock, a Viking warrior, and the words "white boy." The criminal complaint details this video, describing a dark-colored car pulled up next to a man who police believe is Kirkendall. He tried to get in the car when someone opened fire. Investigators say gunshots were being fired inside the car. In the video, you see Kirkendall duck and make his way to the back of the car. He looks inside the window. Eventually, he gets in. The criminal complaint says he sits on top of the driver. At some point, they say, he ditched a gun, then dropped the bullet-riddled car with 3 dead men inside at Presbyterian Hospital. Complaint says investigators don't think Kirkendall killed all 3 men, but they do believe he is likely responsible for one of their deaths. Right now, he is not charged with homicide, but is charged as a felon in possession of a firearm. Investigators say 2 of the dead men are Brandon Torres and James Fisher. Investigators say they were also members of the Aryan Brotherhood.
It was a bizarre shooting caught on camera in northeast Albuquerque. It involved 4 men who investigators say were part of a white supremacist group called the Aryan Brotherhood. So who are these guys, and are there others like them? Nancy Laughlin found out more about the gang, where members are supposed to remain loyal even if that means committing crimes after they get out of prison.
It looked like something out of a movie. May 12th, northeast Albuquerque. A car drives up. Investigators say when Richard Kuykendall tries to get in, bullets start flying. He ducks, then goes around the car, eventually getting inside that car where 3 men had been fatally shot. Who shot who? That's still under investigation. Kuykendall, they say, ditches a gun, then dumps the men at Casement Presbyterian Hospital. A week later, he's busted, not for murder, but for being a felon in possession of a gun. So who were these guys? Turns out all had long rap sheets, plenty of mugshots, and the feds say were members of the Aryan Brotherhood.
With the Aryan Brotherhood or some of the white prison gangs, there's not a lot of white street gangs. I mean, we have our neo-Nazis, our KKK groups, things of that nature.
Walter Herrera is the head of the New Mexico Gang Investigators Association. He says once someone ends up behind bars, it's not uncommon for them to join a gang.
If you're white, you're outnumbered in the state of New Mexico, and you are going to roll with your own race, and that ends up forming its own inmate politics, if you will.
The Aryan Brotherhood Corrections Department staffers say started in the prison system decades ago.
The Aryan Brotherhood is a gang that actually originated in the state of California back in the 1950s, 1960s.
The feds say over time, the Aryan Brotherhood, or AB as they're also called, spread throughout the country with members inside and outside the prison system, including right here in New Mexico.
I couldn't tell you a specific number, but I mean, it's in the probably hundreds of thousands. When you're talking about a nationwide level.
Members of AB often have tattoos identifying their membership, like white boy. And it's not just men who are members.
For the female gang members who are affiliated with these groups, oftentimes there's a misconception or a misunderstanding that the female gang members wouldn't be involved in violence.
They say gang members are supposed to stay loyal even when they're out of prison. The New Mexico Department of Corrections tells us there are options for people who don't want any part of this.
You know, the Corrections Department tries to implement programs and incentives and things like that to kind of steer the inmates and these individuals that are involved in these groups away from that mentality. But it's ultimately up to that individual to make that choice that they want to get away from that.
The head of the New Mexico Gang Investigators says all of this is not easy. He says there are 600 documented gangs in New Mexico, including the Aryan Brotherhood. Nancy Laughlin, KOAT Action 7 News.
In 2015, the feds say the S&M prison gang was tied to murders both inside and outside prison and attempting to put a hit on the head of the New Mexico Department of Corrections. The FBI says more than 100 gang members were convicted on federal charges.
Officials believe a neo-Nazi prison gang was involved in a situation that led to the deaths of 3 men and the arrest of a 4th in Albuquerque, New Mexico. NBC News reported that Richard Kendall was arrested after investigators said he drove a bullet-ridden vehicle to a city hospital and informed a security guard that 3 dead men were inside the car before fleeing the scene last week. Kendall has yet to be charged with any of the deaths, but FBI agents reportedly believe he is responsible for at least one, according to NBC, which reported that the FBI's complaint in federal court accused him of being involved in a shootout that apparently occurred inside the vehicle.
On this episode of Albuquerque Gangland, we'll be profiling the New Mexico Aryan Brotherhood, also known as the Brand or the AB. It's a neo-Nazi prison gang and an organized crime syndicate which is based in the United States and has an estimated 20 to 25,000 members both inside and outside prisons. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Aryan Brotherhood makes up an extremely low percentage of the entire U.S. prison population, but it is responsible for a disproportionately large number of prison murders. And these guys are pretty small in New Mexico, but they hold their own on the streets and in the New Mexico Department of Corrections. They're kind of clicked up like with the Texas, Aryan Brotherhood. But New Mexico prisons are 85% Mexican, or New Mexican I should say. So these guys, but they hold their own. Founding location was San Quentin State Prison. Founded in 1964. The gang is focused on the economic activities which organized crime entities typically engage in: drug trafficking, extortion, inmate prostitution, and murder for hire. The organization of its whites-only membership varies from prison to prison, but it is generally hierarchical, headed by a 12-man council which is topped by a 3-man commission. The Aryan Brotherhood uses various terms, symbols, and images in order to identify itself, including shamrocks, swastikas, and other symbols. In order to join the Aryan Brotherhood, new members may swear a blood oath or take a pledge. Acceptance into the AB, Brand, or Aryan Brotherhood is aided by a prospect's willingness to kill another inmate, informant, or street enemy. In New Mexico, as in Texas, there are 2 competing Aryan Brotherhood factions. Each faction in New Mexico follows the leadership of their respective faction in Texas. Because the Aryan Brotherhood in New Mexico is in the organizational phase, it is considered a subchapter of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, their sponsoring entity. The Aryan Brotherhood in New Mexico seeks to become its own Aryan Brotherhood chapter. The Aryan Brotherhood in New Mexico receives directives and approval from the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. The Aryan Brotherhood in New Mexico, like full Aryan Brotherhood chapters across the nation, has defined militaristic ranking structure beginning with the soldier and ending with the general. The ranking structure remains constant. However, there are frequent personal changes as far as promotions, demotions, and terminations within the ranking structure. In 2002, one fraction of the Aryan Brotherhood in New Mexico was headed by Brad Wasson. Bradley Wasson was followed by Aryan Brotherhood prospective members Benjamin Raymond, Travis Topplerin Daly, Jeremiah Looney, and many others. The Aryan Brotherhood hierarchy and membership are frequently incarcerated and or fleeing law enforcement. In order to maintain discreet communications and avoid law enforcement scrutiny both inside and outside of prison, the Aryan Brotherhood, both in Texas and New Mexico, has established multiple communication points or hubs. The hubs, usually females, support the Aryan Brotherhood's Aryan supremacist or separatist ideals and have full knowledge that they are supporting a criminal enterprise when they forward communications on behalf of this enterprise. So again, man, you guys got it there, the down low scope. This is kind of some old information. So since then, these guys have established their chapter, and as you can see from these news reports, they're all in the streets, they're in the prisons, and, they got a bunch of members, and that's why they're on this Albuquerque Gangland. These are all news clips in the beginning from Albuquerque News. These guys got a lot of members. They are in the prison. They do hold their own. They are established, well-known, and deadly. Again, this is the AB, the factions out of New Mexico. As you saw, that they are part of the faction of Texas, and they go back and forth like so. Showing some pictures here of the original Albuquerque members, along with some of the Texas members, and some of the original founding members of the Aryan Brotherhood in general. Again, shout out to all the Woods, shout out to all the A-Beers, deadly as ever, and a part of the Albuquerque Gangland, as you saw on the streets of Albuquerque. They are known for killing informants, for killing law enforcement, for killing correctional officers, and for killing fellow inmates and other members who have fallen from grace. So again, New Mexico AB.